Hello, my name is Amit Sharma. I'm the Extreme IOSC based in Singapore. Copy data management is one of the growing pain points in the industry today. As per IDC, 60% of the data is duplicate. An estimated $44 billion was spent just to maintain those duplicate copies. In my recent interaction, a lot of customers, it came out clearly that looking at more copies for various line of business applications like tested dev, reporting, analytic, and even multiple copies for backup so that they can roll back in case of any logical corruption to a previous copy. Well, business wants more. They don't want to stop with 4 copies or 5 copies. They want more and more copies. But what's the challenge? What is holding them? The existing technology is not allowing them to embark on this journey. The number one challenge is to have copies instantaneously. Right now, technology it takes a very long time to provision multiple database copies. It takes sometimes more than 2 to 3 days before they can get the database copy up and running for various line of business applications. Why is that? Because one of the most common approach today is to take host-based backup and then restore it, which takes a lot of time and has a lot of dependencies. The other approach is to do the storage-based cloning copy, where you take a bit by bit copy. Let's say if your production database is 5 terabyte, and if you want to have 10 more copies, you need additional 50 terabyte capacity for just for copies, and that creates huge amount of storage sprawl. And which is certainly not cheap, right? And you cannot say that I'm going to have 20 copies later on, because ultimately you're limited by resources. The cost plays significant role. Now, let me explain how XtremeIO can help you address these concerns. Now, I want to just share one example with you. I met one of the customers recently, and so he told me that his requirement is very simple, right? He has 10 projects, and every project requires at least 8 copies, which means that just imagine if the production database is 5 terabyte, and if you need to have 8 copies for so many projects, you really need to have a huge amount of capacity, and you do it quickly. Now, XtremeIO Snapshot provides significant value here. With XtremeIO Snapshots, you can take copies without really reserving any space, which means that these copies are zero space copies. These don't occupy any capacity at all. Let's say if your database is 5 terabyte, which anyway XtremeIO would compress due to inline deduplication to maybe 2.5 terabyte or 2 terabyte, and then if you take 5 copies, we're not going to consume any space at all. And another advantage is that from the traditional implementation of snapshot, in case of XtremeIO, the metadata is kept in the memory, right? So XtremeIO snapshots are highly space efficient, of course, right? Even traditional snapshots are highly space efficient. But when it comes to the metadata, in case of XtremeIO, the metadata is highly efficient because we keep the entire metadata in the memory, right? At the time of snapshot creation, we don't have to really copy the metadata for multiple copies which you're taking for various line of business application. Now, if you compare that with traditional snapshot methodology, they have to copy the metadata as well if they start taking multiple copies. And at the same time, what happens is that they don't have enough memory in their storage platform, right? So they have to destage the metadata from the memory to underlying drives, and that's where the performance really goes down. But on XtremeIO, that challenge is also not there. Highly space efficient, highly metadata efficient. Now, another very, very important point here is that we want to enable development users. We want to enable application owners, right? So snapshots are great. It's very efficient. Infrastructure teams like it. But what if we give more independence to DBAs? What if we give more independence to application owners so that they can take their own copies whenever they want, without really worrying about the script, without really asking infrastructure team to take snapshots, right? That'd be great. They would certainly like that. That's called Nirvana, right? With AppSync, we can create the entire workflow, and then DBAs by themselves can create application aware copies whenever they want. They can do it on demand, they can schedule it, right? Now, the advantage of AppSync is that it's a self-service portal. You can log into self-service portal, take application aware copies. And I can tell you that DBAs love application-aware copies because Oracle recommends that, right? And then once you give them the flexibility to take their own copies as and when they want, and they would start using it, and then they would probably be more productive because they can take their own copies whenever they want. And then another very important point is that these copies are instant, right? And you can take as many copies. So the AppSync creates the workflow orchestration, right? Which is the very important point when it comes to the copy data management. Now, in nutshell, what's happening? So the nutshell we are helping organizations to achieve higher productivity because we are giving them the control, we're giving them the flexibility. They don't have to limit themselves with limited copies. If business wants more, they can take more and more copies either by themselves, if infrastructure team wants to do that, or application team can do by themselves, DBS can do by themselves. More copies on Extreme.io, let me tell you that is savings, right? We do not consume any capacity whatsoever. Every copy is free. However, if you compare more copies on XYZ or ABC storage platform, more copies are overhead on those traditional storage platforms. In a nutshell, Extreme.io iCDM, which is the integrated copy data management solution, allows you to achieve highly agile and flexible environment in your businesses. Thank you very much.